need to understand the problem that we all come against and why we don't chase these leads. The main reason is because we don't have time. So because we've done the time management section of this course, we now have a bit more time on our hands. And we also understand that they're 300% easier to convert than cold calling. So we allocate the time. The second thing, and also probably the most problematic, is we actually just don't know where they're kept. So we don't have potentially the database in place or the shared drive in place that have documented this. But I'd really love to challenge you to really dig deep over the last 5 years. They would have been kept somewhere at some point. They would be in Salesforce, buried somewhere, or they would be in another system where they would be quite tricky to gather. Even if you speak to the staff members that perhaps are no longer in the business, or people that would have actually tracked these leads, it's just really important that you can find that data and get as much as you can. Of course, if you don't have any data, you literally have nothing at all to work with. Now's the time to use this time to actually set up a function to capture that data. The other big problem is that they're unqualified. You may just have Joe Blogs or Jane Blogs at abc.com because for whatever reason you didn't have the processes in place to actually get those leads qualified at the time. And again, that's actually okay, and we can work through how they look in a minute. The other thing is that we often don't have their contact details. We don't have their emails address, and we don't have their mobile number and things like that. And that is definitely something that is important to put in place for the future to make this a lot easier. The other problem is it's a massive exercise, right? This really, to do this properly, will take you weeks to go through all of those leads and get them rated and qualified. And how do you possibly qualify something where it's such a generic name at a generic organization? I am going to talk to you about streamlining that. It's just very important that you try and get as much of the data as possible. So even if it is very, very brief, it's worth getting as more volume data, and then we can start cutting it down. The other challenge I see with looking at leads over a period of time and actually going back over our business and looking at them is that it's just super hard to prioritize. How do you actually know who to call and when and for how long and how much time and energy you put into them? And that's why it's really important that we go through the qualitative exercise similarly to what we did with your clients, and actually really look at rating them in a different way. And this actually is going to be a lot easier this time because you've already done rating your clients. The other challenge I've found with following up leads is that there seems to be a lack of confidence, just like there can be a lack of confidence with sales calls. But if you talk your team through the process that you've gone through and you actually understand that you're 300% more likely to convert from a lead in the last 5 years than you are from a cold call, then I think those stats speak for themselves. I would love to tell you exactly where to capture your leads. However, everyone has bespoke systems. So one thing I would be saying to you is really looking at 3 things to make sure you're capturing them properly. So for me, it needs to be automated. It must be automated because as soon as you don't automate it, you leave and you will have leakage. And when you have leakage, you have lost revenue. So automation is key. The other one is accountability. So ensuring there's more than one person accountable for those leads so that there isn't a key person risk there. And also the final one is going to be making sure that the leads are actually actioned over a period of time, and it isn't every 2 years you do a massive lead generation exercise.